Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world. Whether you're just starting out or scaling up, this is your space to connect, learn, and grow alongside a community of trailblazing women who, just like you, they are making their mark in the world of business. From personal branding to powerhouse marketing, from leadership to lifestyle tips, we've got you covered. So get ready to ignite your passion, fuel your purpose, and unlock your potential with Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. Let's make this journey together and turn your entrepreneurial dreams into reality. Hi, and welcome to the Real Female Entrepreneurs. Our next guest is the host of Bippity Boppity Business and founder of Reignite Media. Plus, she sprinkles Disney-inspired brilliance into the world of business strategies just for you. With her Webby-nominated expertise in podcasting and storytelling, she transformed brands into unforgettable experiences. Let's dive into her world of creativity, innovation, and a touch of pixie dust. Please join me in giving a magical welcome to the enchanting Rita Richa. Welcome.
Oh my gosh, hi. I feel like I need to come down in like the orb from Wicked, like Glenda the Good Witch after that amazing intro. Like, where's my wand? Like, that's amazing. Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
And I just love Bippity Boppity Business. That is the most precious thing. But before we get into how you name that and everything else, what inspired you to become the amazing entrepreneur you are today?
Well, I'll say amazing with a grain of salt. I feel like, we're figuring it out as we go. So I appreciate that. But I think what's interesting about my entrepreneurial story, which I think a lot of those who are listening can possibly relate to, is I never really chose to be an entrepreneur. I think the entrepreneurial life chose me, to be honest. It was a string of many events that led me to be here. And just as a story, I think it's interesting. Growing up, I always told everyone that I ever knew that I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like, there was nothing more that you would never catch me doing. Like, I would hate it. Da 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 da. My dad was an entrepreneur. I'm Middle Eastern, and my family, we have a bunch of entrepreneurial people in my family. And I just was like, no way, Jose. Like, I'm going to have a cushy job and time off and going to live my best life. And that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be an entrepreneur at first. But what happens when you say you don't want something too many times? I think the universe confuses it for reverse manifestation and goes, well, I think you're going to have to do it now. And so basically, I was, working for a podcast agency at the time. What led me there was a lot of events, from thinking I wanted to be in theater and doing music, pursuing that in college, realizing that I wasn't going to sound like, Judy, what's her name? Oh my God. Well, I can't remember her name. This
Judy
is so
Garland.
bad. Judy Garland. Yes. I was like, I wasn't going to sound like a prima donna, like superstar anytime soon. So I was like, okay, I made my whole life surrounding this one thing I thought I wanted to do. What's the next closest thing? Like, what is the business version of acting? I'm like, okay, marketing. Yeah, that's pretty much like being on stage is the equivalent of social media. You have to like put your face out there and build a brand, kind of like how you have to build a story and like convey some emotion to your audience. So without realizing it at the time, that's kind of what I was going towards. So I did marketing for a little bit here and there, ended up falling in love with it, and then I fell in love with audio and video and the media side of marketing, more the creator side, less the data research and analytics side. I think I was more of like, there's like these joking TikToks where where they ask like, what kind of marketer are you, and it shows a different set of emojis. I'm definitely the pink ribbon paintbrush like sparkle emoji type of marketer. So, anyways, through that and discovering media, I was working for this agency doing podcasting, and I absolutely loved it. I loved my job. I loved the kind of podcasting we did was specifically for businesses. It was B2B podcasting, and I just thought it was so funny that like I went from one extreme to the other overnight, and that I was really just trying to immerse myself in that environment, and in doing so, I just told myself that I'm going to play the role of a marketer that knew everything she was talking about, and then maybe I'll like become that basically. So like a little bit of an acting like mind fest there, like mind trick rather there. Anyways, time went by, and like everything in the world that happened a few years ago, layoffs happened, and I was one of those people, boohoo, sad story, nobody cares. Everyone's been like laid off at least once in their life. But it was pretty hard for me in the moment, right? So what I did is I started looking for a job because I need to pay my bills. And no job was to be found. I mean, luckily I had been a really positive thing that I learned from this agency was how to build my personal brand on LinkedIn. So I had been posting and making content for fun on LinkedIn and just really networking and connecting with others because I genuinely enjoyed it. So luckily, the day that things kind of fell apart, I made a little post and I let everyone know, like, okay, I'm looking for jobs. And, I started a daily kind of like journal, if you will, of like day one of my job search, day two of my job search. And it was honestly just for me. I didn't really think anybody would care. I was like, I need therapy that I can't afford right now. So this is what this LinkedIn page, for better or for worse, is going to be for me right now. The beautiful thing that I didn't know would come of all of that is I started getting DMs and people started messaging me like, wow, interesting to hear you're not working with X company anymore. Like, are you interested in this project? And then another person reached out to me, really like the stuff you've been making. Like, can you consult for my podcast agency? And I just like, in a month and a half, I went from filing for unemployment and never getting that first check to landing my first client to then getting a few clients to then going, oh, I think I have a business now. What do I do? And that's how it happened, basically.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah,
That
it's
is like
pretty,
a whirlwind story. It's a
yeah,
bippity boppity business story.
it was definitely a Disney-esque kind of like Freaky Friday moment where I felt like I woke up in somebody else's life and shoes and had to like figure it out basically. So but I wouldn't have had it any other way. I honestly feel like if I didn't get laid off, I would have never pursued what I'm doing now, and I wouldn't have been doing what I love and what I actually enjoy, which is now I actually kind of love being an entrepreneur, to be honest. So so it's funny how the world works that way.
So, how did the name Bippity Boppity Business come up? Because that's exactly what happened to you.
Yeah, man, it was like a bippity boppity boo transformation moment. How the name of the podcast came up. I was working at this agency prior, and we were given a lot of high profile clients in various very bougie fields that I never thought I'd be able to work with before. Like, things like fintech and SaaS and like all these things that I just didn't. I mean, I was a theater kid. I didn't know what any of that stuff meant, right? So, in meetings with these clients, I would try to better understand what they were saying and the terms and the acronyms they were using. So, I would try to use examples from what's my favorite thing in the world, Disney, and the theme parks to help me better understand what they were saying. So, for example, an executive came to me once and said, "We want to make a show that improves our CX for our ideal clients." And I was just like, first of all, CX, what is that? They're like, customer experience. I was like, okay. So does that kind of mean like from the moment you buy your ticket online to go to Disney to the moment you're there to the moment you leave, like it's that entire journey? Like you want to encapsulate something like that, but like business version. And they were like, pretty much, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I get that now. So there was various moments where I was using this kind of analogies naturally in conversations with clients to better understand what they were saying and have it be more accessible to me. And then I thought to myself, wow, I am helping people with podcasts, but I don't have my own. And that feels really shady to me. I've never had my own podcast. How am I here? How are we all advising people on shows like at this agency if we've like literally never made one ourselves? How are we supposed to really understand the customer and have empathy for them and all the things that you're supposed to have if you haven't walked in that person's shoes before? So a combination of I need to learn more about business and I'd like to learn more about podcasting, and option C hidden, maybe it'd be cool if I could talk to cast members too. Kind of made me think, well, okay, I really want something that's catchy. I want it to have the word business in the title because that's an SEO thing for any podcast. You want to have your like at least one keyword in there. So I was like, what's the title? Pixie dust business, or like making magic business, which couldn't take because that's pretty popular podcast, creating Disney like magic. That's a whole other show. So then I started like, watching some stuff online, and then I was like, bippity boppity boo. And I was like, wait a second. I love that song. Oh my gosh, it has like a little twist to business. So I think I'm gonna do it. Screw it. I'm gonna do it. Bippity boppity business. And I started interviewing people while I was working my full-time job. And what I learned was that there was so much. Isn't it funny that when you do a new thing, you realize there's so much you don't know? Like when you do something for the first time, you think you know everything until you do it and realize, oh my gosh, I know nothing. Right? So that's how I felt when I did my own show. And I was able to interview some really amazing guests. Like my very first interview was the former VP of operations for all of Walt Disney World, like the entire parks. So how do I get somebody like that on my show, right? Well, all of my clients were asking me the same thing at the time. Like, how do we get X or Y famous or nice, impressive person on my show? Like, I don't know. I have to figure that out for myself first so I can tell you how to do it. And what I learned is LinkedIn was, the place that I was making stuff for fun and just like making posts was like the best possible place for me to be reaching out to all of these awesome people that I thought were untouchable, inaccessible, or whatever. So I reached out to that guest and I did a pitch, and I did this training at the agency to perfect my podcast pitches and all that stuff. And fast forward now, and I mean, I've been able to do amazing things like fly to LA to interview an animator for a former animator for Disney. And, I've been able to film an episode about business in Hawaii, and it was like a Bippity Boppity Business Hawaii edition episode. Like, there's been really cool things that I've been able to do that had I not just started and accepted that I knew nothing and that I was going to be bad at it, that I wouldn't have achieved. It's the perfectionist in me for a long time prevented me from wanting to do things like this. That's why I never posted on Instagram or made videos on YouTube, because I felt like, especially as women, we have to like look and act and be a certain way to like quote unquote be online. And I thought that podcasting was like a really easy, safe space to start that journey. And also, I mean, business podcasts can be kind of boring. So why not make it a little fun? And that's where the kind of Disney-esque side comes in. I'm like, what does Disney do great at? Entertaining, educating, and inspiring. So can I do that for myself? Let's try it. And here we are.
I mean, isn't that what we do as entrepreneurs?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
You have to be all of the things. You have to be the leader, you have to be the doer, you have to be the salesperson that's like, you have to be your own business fairy godmother, right? But you don't have magic. So how do you do that, right? And you do that through trying new things and being open to new things, and more importantly, getting out of your own circle and networking. And I think that's what podcasting did for me too. It wasn't really about the people who were watching. It wasn't about it being monetized. It wasn't about, any of that. It was just me trying to learn. And I think once you have that student mindset, entrepreneurship becomes all that more palpable, because it's rough. It's rough when you first start.
And then you learn how to monetize and you go from there.
Absolutely right. Don't do the non-monetizing thing for a long time, because then it's just charity. Unless you want to do that, don't do that.
All right. That was good advice. So the next question is, what advice do you have for other women that are either thinking about getting business or just starting out?
Mm, I think I would go back to the thing I touched on very briefly, which is the networking. Relationship building, whether you are ready to start your business or you are in the current throes of growing your business, will never not be a helpful thing for you. The connections that you make now, you never know how they could impact you or help you 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. So, um, if you're nervous about doing that or you don't know where to start, you don't necessarily have to create a brand overnight to do it. There's so many online resources, communities, LinkedIn in general, like getting excited to maybe post a thing or two and just committing to maybe commenting on one new person's page a day to try to be place some seeds for relationships. Like, I think relationships over transaction are the way to grow your business. And the reason I can say that wholeheartedly is there are relationships I formed at the agency that I worked at prior, that whether it was a client or a contractor that maybe referred me to somebody else later that I'm working with now, that at that time I didn't even want to be an entrepreneur, you know? So I just think it's staying curious and being excited to be open to making relationships wherever you are, whether it's online or talking the ear off of the cashier at the at the grocery store. Like, have your business cards on you or your card on you, and just be open to build relationships wherever that opportunity may arise.
Great advice. Networking is key. What about to women who, they got the networking down?
Yeah.
They've been in business for a little bit, but they seem to be struggling or doubting themselves. What magic words would you have for them?
Mm. You are more than your work. You are more than the level of accolades that you achieved this year. You are even greater than you think you are. And I say that because I think we can often minimize our achievements as women. We might have made amazing progress in the year. We might have accomplished so many cool things, and then feel like we still didn't do enough, right? Like, there's always something to do, there's more, like, your like business is constantly evolving, there's new apps, there's new marketing methods, like all these things are being thrown at you, it's overwhelm. And I would recommend just taking a pause and thinking, what are 3 things that I did this year that 5 years ago me would have never believed that I could have ever done, right? Because I feel similar. Like, I've felt similar. We all feel that way. We look at LinkedIn and social media and see people achieving amazing things and going, man, I didn't do that yet, or I haven't written a book yet, or I haven't had a TED talk yet, and da 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 da. Da. You have time too. Like, you still have time. I was watching a really amazing interview with Cher where she was excitedly announcing her new book she wrote. She's in her 70s. And you know what? She was like, I'm just getting started. Do you know how amazing and powerful that mindset is, to know that you have time and you are capable? Just enjoy what you have in the moment if you can. So, for me, that's taking time away from social. Like, I have to at least once a week, like, turn off all of the gadgets and gizmos aplenty, okay? And I just need to, like, be with myself, you know? Um, so long story short, if you're struggling to find the motivation to believe in yourself, or you're doubting yourself in your business, know that you can do it. You have time. And then also, lastly, find a buddy. Life is so much better when you can find a buddy to talk to or work with. Doesn't have to be a colleague. Like, I do co-work days with friends sometimes when I'm having a rough day. Like, you might need to find a little buddy. Even all the Disney characters have cute little sidekick buddies. So you might need to, just whatever that is for you, like, find that for you to help you along the way.
So, we've given advice to others. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self, knowing what you've learned already in business?
Man, that's a crazy question, because I was um I was later on in life diagnosed with ADHD. And that has answered so many questions for me that 18-year-old me, I feel like just needed to know. And the reason why I start with that and not with business is you will find who you are as you grow into what you're doing. And once you find that and you learn what your strengths are, instead of hyper fixating on your weaknesses, you'll begin to learn that there that's the beauty of business in itself. You don't have to hyper fixate on all of your weaknesses and try to make yourself better all the time. You can delegate. What a magical thing. Like, I feel like we need that on the screen with sparkles and a rainbow. Like, delegate. Like, because in a normal job, if you suck at what you're doing, you can't just say, well, I'm going to let, like, Cindy or Sean over here do it for me because, like, I'll just pay them to do it. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you have to do the job, right? So, who knew that being an entrepreneur would be the remedy to constantly wondering, what am I doing? Why am I not good at this? Like, why can't I stay seated all the time in a little office or whatever? Like, there's just like, yeah, like there's just so many things. So, I think the other thing I would tell myself is, you will find out what you need to do and how you need to do it at the right time. Don't rush into it. We think we're so like paced to like we're just so quick to want to find all the answers like very, very quickly. And I think that did me more harm than good. Like this chase to want to be ambitious and do something and really listen to what everyone else told me what you should do. Like, Rita, you should like, get your master's, or Rita, you should do this or you should do that. All of that outside advice did nothing for me. So stop listening to everyone else and, have a little like Mulan moment, listen to your heart, sit outside and ask yourself like, what am I really good at? What do I really love doing? And in a perfect world, if I could do all of those things and get paid for it, like what would that look like? It may not happen overnight, but there are small things like side gigs or internships or one-off projects that you can do to help you get there over time.
Yeah, I love that advice. Now that we went back,
Yes.
let's look forward. All right.
Into the
Do you,
unknown and forward. Yes.
do you mind giving us a tip on what you're doing right now to
Mhm.
plan for 2025, the new year?
What I'm doing right now is I'm really trying to reflect on the things that I like. There's this concept called like finding your zone of genius, right? And it's really not complex. It's just find the like one or two things that you feel like you're really, really awesome at, and then delegate all the other stuff that makes you feel crummy about yourself, basically, right? So, looking to the next year, we are looking to grow. We're looking to, grow the team, grow the business, and we're at the very beginning stages of that. And I think that in doing that, I have to. How am I supposed to grow the business if we don't know where we're going, right? So we need to make the plan. We're making the plan, and part of that plan includes what does my role day to day look like, really? Like, what do I actually want it to look like? Because at some point, even though as entrepreneurs, we pride ourselves on being the person that wears all the hats, at some point, we have to give a hat or two away and put on your tiara and become the CEO. Okay. So I'm trying to find my tiara moment and give away the cute, like, fedora, the visor. Like, there's the other hats like that fit the other people that need to wear them,
I
basically.
love the tiara moment. I
Yes.
think that is like a definite name. Your tiara moment.
The
That
tiara
is
moment.
cute.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's true. So, what is one thing you know for sure going into the new year?
Mm.
If you don't mind sharing with us, what is a goal that you're looking at having happen?
Okay. So, an absolute goal that I'm very excited about is taking my. I teach at a university podcasting. I teach it in person, and we are in the process of getting the course badged. So that means the university will provide a certification for it. And in addition to that, we are going to take the course to be an online virtual class. So if I can make that happen, which we're very close to, but making that happen and making it open to anyone that wants to take the class, that is a really big goal of mine because I'm very passionate about educating, and it makes me so happy. So that's one really big goal. And then the other like side goal that I will say is one of my core values. I decided that this year I learned is fun. Fun is one of my core values. And I want to make sure that the work I'm doing, even though it can be, challenging or whatever, at the end of the day, like I want to make sure we're having fun. We're not brain surgeons. We work in podcasting. If we're not having fun, like what the heck am I doing? You know what I mean? So those are both personal and professional goals that I have going into the year, into the new year.
So, what is one key strategy that you've done that increased your business that other people looked at you and said, "Oh no, that's never going to work," but
Oh,
it worked?
that's such a good question. I really love that. Um, I think that something that I did in the beginning that was a little questionable for my bank account was going to conferences, going to a lot of conferences, and making content while I was there, and kind of feeling silly while doing it, especially conferences when they're not walking around with selfie cameras or podcast mics or equipments or anything of the like, just like showing up to literally anything. Like if it was an event that said business, like I'm there. I don't care what industry it's in. I'm going. And the reason why is because most people tell you when you start your business, you have to pick a niche right from the get go. God forbid you don't. Your business is going to fail. You're never going to grow. Okay, yes, at some point you should. At some point you should. But if you don't know what that is yet, don't just like throw in the towel and go, I guess I don't know what I need to like niche down in, so I shouldn't do anything. So if you don't know what to niche down in, when like I was going through and still trying to figure out like exactly, go to the events where the people are talking to each other, where those niches come to life, and see if you enjoy talking to the people there, and enjoy the topics, like if you resonate with them. Like I know it's a little bit Disney-esque, but like I have from the movie The Little Mermaid, she sings the song and she's like, I want to be where the people are, or whatever. Like, go where the people are, get out of your head and go where the people are, and you will find that the answers are right in front of you. So yeah, the long short of it is, people told me if you don't pick a niche, your business isn't going to grow and you're going to be unhappy. Well, I'm happy to tell you that my bills are comfortably paid. I've gone to some really awesome events and built my network, made some great content as a result to promote myself. And who knows? We never know what any of those relationships will turn out to be later. But I've definitely figured out what I don't want to do. And if you can't figure out what you want to do, start with what you don't want to do, and you'll quickly narrow it down.
You do narrow that down. All right. If you had to the magical queen herself,
Oh wow.
what would be the one superpower for one day that you would want if you could choose any superpower?
Girl, I want freaking like teleportation. All right. Like, I don't want to fly. It's too tiring. I don't need super strength. Like, if I could teleport and be at any location at any time, my podcast interviews would look so aesthetic. I could be in Paris one day, I can be in Rome another day, and then not working. Maybe I just really want a churro. I can like go to Mexico, get my churro. Maybe I want to go to Disney for lunch. I can drive there, but that's not a lunch hour thing. So, I just think teleportation, we're already doing like driverless cars or whatever. Like, let's stop that and focus more on teleportation. Yeah, I want that.
I can see you doing that.
Yeah, just a little poof. And I want a wand while I do it. I want a wand. That's the key. That's how it has to be activated.
All right. What is one fact about you that not a lot of people know about?
Okay. Um, so I say I used to work in theater and all of that, but not a lot of people know that I play piano and I love to sing. And I still teach kids for fun every now and then. And I just really love music and the power of music and what it can do for people, and how it can really inspire. And I'm obsessed with karaoke. Like, I don't know if you could like tell that I might be that person, but my one of my guilty pleasures is I have this app. It's called Smule, and it's like karaoke where you can like audio only karaoke with people like all around the world, like virtually. And it's really fun, and I do it way more than I should. So it's just super fun, and I think like the power of play is so important in your day to day. And I think on the outside I might look like this, like, kind of like hypercentric person, but there are moments where where I do find my zen and find my calm, and it's usually when I'm like playing piano or being with, teaching the little kiddos that I teach sometimes. And yeah, that's a fun fact about me.
I love that fact. That's a fun fact for sure. Because I can see that. I can see you actually, that's like your downtime to actually chill.
Yes.
It's your self care time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so important. And I'm glad that I can have it be my self-care time and not my full-time work before. Because if you're with kids for too many hours of the day, then that's not really like, I'm sure there's mothers listening to me laughing in my face, like, ha, 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 kids are your self-care time. Like, good one, Rita. Like, but like, it's planned in chunks and like hour intervals whenever I want. So there's a difference.
Get it. All right. What about a book? What is your favorite book?
Ooh, okay. Choosing Wonder Over Worry by Amber Ray. It's a really good book. It was kind of one of the first books that got me to think about the way that I perceived the world and creativity and all of that. Highly recommend it. It's kind of a small theme that inspires like some parts of my podcast as well too. So if you're not a reader like I am, the audiobook is really good. So I like books that have good audiobooks.
I know I like the combo of it too. I have
Yes.
so one of my little self-care pleasures is actually people go, "Oh my God, you ruin books." Yes, I do. I
Yes.
love sitting in steam rooms reading books.
I love that. That's amazing. Maybe
So
it's like reverse tea though too, like the good book smell. Like I wonder if there's like a product that you could do for that to like make you look good while you feel good, like while you steam in the sauna. I don't know. It's just a thought. But that's really awesome. I think I may fall asleep if I did that though. I might I definitely might need the audio going at the same time to keep me engaged if I did that.
song. What is your go-to song? You love music. So what
Oh
is your
my
go-to
gosh.
song get you moving and grooving? If you can't just pick one, give me a few.
Okay, so the first song that comes to mind is the it's Be Our Guest from the Beauty and the Beast. I don't know what happens. Anytime that song comes on, it's just like a like back to factory setting mode for me where it's just like be our, like I can't, like the first word comes on and like it's fine. Another one that I really really love is the oh my gosh, why have all the songs just left me? I actually really love Jessie J a lot, but particularly her acoustic tracks too. So it's not moving and grooving, but it's one of those like you walk in slow mo and feel like you're a really awesome, cool person and that like you're on top of the world kind of a thing. And then Hamilton, the Broadway Hamilton. Okay, guys, this song where he's like talking about like who he is and screw the people that don't believe in him, and like you're gonna see how awesome I am. I can't remember the name of it because I'm just too excited thinking about it right now, but you'll know if you listen to it. um yeah, one of those songs too where I'm like, I am Alexander Hamilton. Like I'm not, but like it just is like those, like it's an announcement song, like I am here and screw you people that don't believe in me type of music. Anything in the Disney.
So inside the magazine, we actually put a playlist of all
Oh
your favorite
snap.
songs, so everybody's going to be able to find it.
Okay, well, I'll make sure to link the right one so that you know exactly what I'm talking about too.
All right. Do you have a favorite quote?
Oh, yes. If you can dream it, you can do it. That's, I know, again, Walt Disney. I turned my hyperfixation into my brand because it just helps me. I really do like this stuff. I know it sounds cheesy, but I love that. If you can dream it, You can do it, because it's so true. Whether Walt Disney or Steve Jobs or whoever would have said it, it's the fact that you are in control of your own destiny. You may not be able to have control over the outside factors of that, but you have the choice to make one small step every day to become closer to that reality, to that dream that you envision. And that's my favorite quote, because yeah, it's gotten me this far. So I'd say it's doing pretty well for me.
And how do you stay motivated besides Disney all over
Yes.
in the brain?
Yes, genuinely, like, aside all of that, how do I stay motivated? I like to say, to be a great creator, you have to be an excited consumer. So I really try to like, I have YouTube videos that I watch for fun of creators that I enjoy. I definitely surround myself with women that I can speak to whenever I'm having a rough day. Like, some, I'm not my own fairy godmother. I really, every and every woman that I've crossed paths with, I feel like there's a ready to listen ear for me, which I'm so grateful for. And sometimes when I don't feel motivated, to be honest, because it's not rainbows and sparkles every day by any means, like, I allow myself to not be motivated for that day, just to give myself the permission to rest and say, okay, I have to recharge my pixie dust. It's fine. I need to rest. And once I do, I find that the motivation can come. You cannot create from a state of stress, from a state of overwhelm, from exhaustion. And if I have to, bring all these stories to life every day, but I feel like I'm mentally on the shelf, like, what's the point in forcing myself, especially as an entrepreneur? Like, I have the choice. I don't have to clock in to work today if I don't want to, as long as my minimum things are done. So it's a balance of leaning on others, finding inspiration in the world and media and life, and also giving the yourself the chance to just take a day off, man. Like, just break.
We need that sometimes, especially
Yeah.
like my morning this morning was lull. I did
Yes.
a few things, but I was able to like pump things out in this evening. So yeah, reversing things even.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
being adaptable and flexible to your own needs in that day, and not forcing yourself or drill sergeanting yourself into doing things, is going to be better for you in the wrong run. Because I did it the other way, where I would force myself. Like, you watch too many podcasts or broadcasts where, like, take an ice bath, you're amazing, believe in yourself, suck up your feelings and be strong. Like, there's like so many business motivation stuff that like talk like that. Like, nah, bro, chill, Tony Robbins, respectfully, with love. Like, there are days where you do need to just be and just exist, and be happy about that. And yeah, I just went on a cruise recently. It was a week-long vacation. Haven't really taken a week-long vacation in a minute. Entrepreneurs listening will understand that that doesn't really exist sometimes. But I really committed to doing it, and wow, like, how amazing it is to just feel motivated after you take a break. What a concept. I didn't know. I didn't realize it. So yeah, it's important.
Take a break. So, what is the best way to connect with you for our audience to connect with you in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Rita Richa, Rita Richa, or you can stay in touch with me on Instagram. Same name there, just there's an underscore before my name, so underscore Rita Richa. And yeah, you can email me if you want. I have a business line. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Like, whatever you want, we'll drop it in the show notes. We'll give it to you. I am here. I love talking and meeting anyone. So if anything I've said here today has sparked your interest, or you're actually a closeted Disney fan as well that you want to like nerd out with too, like, I'm fine with that also.
Wow. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our female entrepreneurs that we didn't discuss yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just like to encourage anyone who is going through a hard time in like, if you're going through a hard time in your business right now, just know that there is so much more to come. There's so many more opportunities that you haven't even realized are a thing yet. And just keep going and keep striving for your dreams, because if one man drew a mouse on a bus one day and then it turned into $1 million business, who's to say that your idea can't be the thing that changes your life forever? So, just to encourage you that there is magic in your work, in your story, and keep going, because no one else can tell your story other than you.
Well, Rita, we're going to bippity boppity boop business and say you are totally magical. And
Thank
we
you.
loved having you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.